bit and read comments and stuff.
Sure.
Cool. Bene.
It's been me all morning.
All right, so we are on air somewhere.
Oh, hold on, I'll be right back.
Yeah, we are. We are on air on YouTube.
Here, go. She's right here. They were looking for my dog. It was underneath my desk.
Okay. So we are on air on YouTube. We have just had some little issues today, technical complications, let's say. So, hi everyone. It's good to be back. We took a day off last week. We didn't go on air last Saturday. Actually, we had to focus on some new FLESHGOD things, and we decided to take a break after 10 episodes. Thank you very much for following us. It's always super cool to spend this hour and a half with you guys every Saturday. And so from now on, we restart. And today it's going to be a killer episode. We are going to have two incredible guests. First one is Sean Tibbetts from Kamelot. And then we are going to have Herman from Dragonforce. So it's this episode is for all you power metal fans, guys. And I know that a lot of FLESHGOD Apocalypse fans are big fans of power metal as well, as much as we are. And so it's always, as I said, it's always great to be with you and meet these legendary musicians and spend some time with them, know them better, and it's super cool. I want to I already said it, but I want to thank you again for following us, supporting us in this new project that we have called Saturday Night Lockdown. I want to thank Nuclear Blast for supporting us in this. I want to thank Francesco and Mike for directing this. Hi, Happy. I see a lot of comments on YouTube now. Claudia, Brian, hi. Albi Poletti from Italy, hello. People from Argentina, ciao Abby. Abby, she's the girl behind all the characters, all the designs that we have in our flyers. Hey. And let me double check if we are on Facebook. Not yet. All right, so we're trying to fix this problem on Facebook, and yeah, so apparently we are going on air on Facebook as well. Right now, we have to wait to be on air there before making Sean join us. Let me try. So how is it going? In the meantime, you can write me. All right, so we're live on Facebook as well. Cool. Okay, people from Facebook, just write something so we know that we are actually live. Okay. Hello from Turkey. Hello from Poland, from Chile, Fort Worth, Texas. So how's it going, guys? Here in Italy is a little bit better. The curve has been lowering in the last 2 weeks, pretty much. Now we are, we had some new cases, but still under control. And good to see you, Chris. And it's been overwhelming and super cool that you wrote a lot of concerned messages about the Saturday Night Lockdown, because we took this break last week. And so we felt like, wow, so this is something that people are waiting like now as like, a weekly episode. And it's great. Thank you very much. Chicago hardcore scene. Cool. All right. So, are we live on Facebook? Can you confirm this? Okay, super cool. So, all right. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's with great pleasure that I want to welcome Sean from Kamelot.
Hey guys.
Hey, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Doing good. How are all the people on Facebook today?
Huh?
How are the people on Facebook today? How are they doing?
I see a lot of people, commenting, especially on YouTube. Right now, we had this little issue on Facebook that I'm trying to fix right now, but I cannot see the comments. I don't know why. It's always, fucked up with these new technologies, especially when you try to do stuff like we are doing without knowing anything about this, because we are musicians and usually, we do, everything else, but this, but yeah, but it's a super cool thing, as I said, we started this because of this COVID-19. It's a new thing that we started to try to stay in touch with fans and also to show a different side of musicians. They know us on stage, know us in video clips and everything, and I think it's a pretty intimate moment, this one, with the people, and they like it a lot. So it's super cool to have you.
Oh, thanks, man. Thank you. So you're in Italy, right?
We are in Italy, and where are you from? Actually, you're in the United States, but where?
Yeah, well, I live in Kentucky now. I used to live in Florida. That's where Kamelot started, was down in Tampa. And so I lived down there for 25 years. I just actually moved up here 9 years ago. So we bought like a cabin out in the woods, and I have horses and alpacas and dogs, and I got a whole farm going on here. It's great, man. A little log cabin. It's beautiful. I love it.
Yeah,
got
it's
mountains
great.
to look at. But
do you miss Florida weather?
I miss the beaches. And then fishing. I really love fishing. I was a big fishing fan. I used to go every weekend, and every chance I got, if I was driving by the water somewhere, I'd have a pole with me. So.
And how is it? Can you go fishing in Kentucky as well? Do you have lakes or rivers?
Yeah, you can, but they're little fish, man, and they're no fun. I like big fish. The fish that they consider big here were like fish I use for bait. So, I mean, like, in Florida, the game fishing is really great. And so that's a lot of fun. And I was an avid fisherman. And I just don't have that here. So I just really don't even bother anymore unless I'm on vacation back in Florida, or seeing family or such. But I like it here, man. It's laid back. It's quiet and really pretty. And traffic doesn't suck. I
love countryside. I live almost in the middle of nowhere as well, and it's super cool. We just have a lot of issues with the internet connection. That's it. For everything else works.
They just got ours going. We got fiber now. We when we first moved here, it didn't work very well. We wouldn't be doing this right now if it was still the same. But they just upgraded. Right when we moved here, they changed it, so it was perfect timing.
All right. So, how is it like moving from state to state right now in the United States? Because we had like restrictions that we couldn't move from region to region in Italy till a couple of weeks ago, and then now they reopened. Is that fine for you to move? Like, if you want to go back to Florida to visit your family, is that fine right now, or?
Well, just going to you, I actually talked to somebody who was in Italy and said that they had to have like special papers and stuff to move, right? Yeah. Wow, that's just crazy, man. We didn't have anything that extreme here. But I guess it worked, right? So
it worked because at first we got like a lot of cases, like up in the north. They're still like, I think they are fine now, especially hospitals. Everything was exploding. Like the first outbreak of the virus here was brutal, and especially in a couple of regions. So in a very small. In Bergamo and Milan, like the very north part of Italy, and so they tried to keep them there and avoid this contact between regions. And now it's better. How's it there?
Well, like you were just saying there, I got friends that live in Highlands, North Carolina, and they were actually turning people around last month if you were trying to get into that town because they didn't have enough hospital beds if an outbreak had started there and got serious. So you weren't even allowed to visit their town. But as far as where I'm at in Kentucky, I live right off the main highway that goes through the United States, and so there was a restriction that if you lived here in Kentucky, and Kentucky, boy, I got country there for a second. If you lived in Kentucky and you went out of state, you were supposed to self quarantine. They didn't enforce anything. They didn't lock you up or anything.
Okay.
But supposed to self quarantine. I just chose to stay home. My family and myself, we've been here, and we stocked up a bunch of food right when all this stuff was starting to happen. We heard a couple rumors about it, and I had some friends at work with the government, and they were saying, they were telling them get some food and stock it up and stay in your house, and that's pretty much what we did. We've been here for a couple months, man, and I'm getting cabin fever. I'm ready to get out of here.
Yeah. No, especially because I think for people like us that are like always touring, it's an opportunity to stay home for this long time. I mean, like not something that we choose, but
yeah, definitely not something we choose. I'm a stage guy, man. I hate. A lot of people like the studio. I am not a fan of the studio, man. It is the most boring work that I think there is. So many people just love it. I'm just like, oh my God, get me out of here. I just slam out my notes as fast as I can and go, here you go. And then tell me when we're hitting the stage, man, because that's my gig. I'm all about the live show.
Okay. So what did you have to cancel many shows because of the COVID-19?
Well, not a whole lot of shows. We were supposed to have some shows this summer in South America. And then also South America was supposed to be last month. We had to cancel that, obviously, because I heard it's getting really crazy down there right now.
But Brazil is like disastrous.
Yeah, we had like 4 shows there, and we had a couple festivals this summer. Nothing big, or not a whole lot of them. It's the end of our album cycle, and so we're actually writing a new album right now, and so there really wasn't a whole lot on the books. We've already been everywhere, and so. Then we had I think 3 shows in Europe. One was a festival in Switzerland, and that got canceled as well. But it looks like 2021 is going to be the year for everybody. It's going to be hitting.
Yeah. Especially everyone that had something planned for 2020, everything is 2021. So
I'll tell you what, it's going to be really great for the fans as far as that goes, because every band in the world right now is chomping at the bit to get out and play. Everyone's tired of being at home and wants to go play, and everyone wants to go see shows. But I think on that same note that there's going to be a ton of bands touring, and it's just going to be full all the time. And so, people only have so much money to go to shows, and so I'm not really sure how that's going to pan out or play out with everyone. But
I don't know. I perfectly understand, and I think that probably it's going to be a super crowd, like overcrowded probably here. But at the same time, if they find a way to make it work, like the promoters and the bookers, I think more or less it's going to work. I mean, we heard this like very bad thing from Live Nation. I don't know if you heard about the guarantees and everything. Like they just don't want to take risk anymore. But it's
I heard about that. I'll have to look into that.
Yeah, I mean, like, there are some. They took they are trying to change a little bit the conditions for artists, and this was pretty much discussed this week about this. But for example, I think if you have like a more underground booker, it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be okay. I have a friend, for example, that is from Switzerland, and 2 weeks ago they started playing shows again, like a limited amount of people allowed, like 300 people, something like that. And he plays in a very underground band, like a death metal band. And they did this show as it was sold out. And it was surprised. It was like, wow. I mean, like we never did a proper sold out, you know, and this was like incredible in a moment in which everybody believes that people are not into going to shows because they are scared or whatever. But I think that the feeling overall is that this pandemic is a little bit under control right now, and maybe with the right precautions like masks and social distancing, it still makes sense to go and check people on stage, you know, live.
So how did that work out? Were the people in the crowd have masks on and stuff?
Yes,
they did.
It was like, okay. Yeah. They let people in with the masks, and I think they took like the temperature without this kind of something like that.
Well, that definitely would make me feel better. I know, like back in February, all this stuff was just starting to come out, and we had this South American tour coming up, and I told Thomas, I said, hey man, you know, I'm not going to do this meet and greet stuff because I don't want the main thing was I didn't want to catch it and bring it home to my family. You know, it's one thing if I catch it, it's another thing how I'll feel if I give it to, you know, my family. So so it was a big deal to me, and so he was like, oh man, no, you got to do the meet and greets, and I was like, no, I don't think so. I think I'm going to and then shortly after that, it got really big, and then so he was like, "Oh, okay, I see what's going on now." So, so I don't think he has a problem with it either now of not doing it. No. But I mean,
I think they will find a way to do the meet and greets as well, like with social distancing. It's not going to be like, you know, shaking hands or hugging people, of course, but
yeah, I wonder how it's going to work because, you know, they want you to sign stuff on top of that too, you know, and then so you got to touch stuff that they've touched, and so I don't know how that's going to work out. I'm sure they're going to want to keep doing it though, because you know, it's a big part of how the music scene is working right now. So for the bands, you know, in favor of the bands actually. So I don't know. We'll have to find out about that. So, you know, I guess everyone will find out about it soon enough.
Yeah. So you told me that you're working on a new album right now.
We are. It's kind of just passing ideas around right now. Oliver Palatai, he flew over and was doing some writing with Thomas. We're pretty much all just passing, you know, files around right now. But
so you're pre-production.
Yeah, pre-production stuff, and then but the actual recording and release is going to be, it's scheduled for summer of 21, but we'll see how that goes. So it should be no problem because I mean we've already started on it, so we should be right on schedule with that. We got the DVD getting ready to come out though. Did you hear? Okay. Have you seen that? Have you seen any of the highlights for that? Oh my god, it's amazing! It was a sold out show we did at the 013.
013. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I checked it out. Yeah. Okay.
So that's coming out. I believe on. Let me look at that. I think it's August 16th.
Okay.
14th. It's coming out. But that was a great show, man. It was sold out, and the guy probably.
That venue is incredible.
I think the guy had like 30 cameras at that show. It was insane. So he's been going through all the files and all that stuff and trying to put it all together. But the shots are great, man. I'm excited seeing it.
I love that place as well because it's one of the first. I think one of the first gigs I ever played abroad was at Orchestral-Death in Tilburg. They were doing like a very underground, brutal death metal festival there, and you know we were one of the like smallest band like 15 years ago something, and so I have this memory. And it's unbelievable. Yeah, we played there for the Epica Metal Fest as well. They're doing. I love to play there. I love to play in Netherlands. It's another level, man.
It is. That's
the next level technically.
That's one of our biggest followings is out of the Netherlands. There and Norway is probably our two biggest followings. So it was a great place to do the show. They went bananas, man.
I can't wait to check it out though.
Have you been there since they remodeled it? Because it's really cool now. It's like a stadium in there. It's insane.
I don't know. I think that the last time we played there was like 2 or 3 years ago, something like that. But I don't remember if you recorded this in last year, 18.
October 18. Yeah, it was the end of that. But there was no rush to get it done, so they were taking their time, get it done, really dialing it in, they figured that because of the epidemic and everything right now, there's no shows. Let's release it now. So here it comes.
Yeah. And how you feel that you like, because you are like technically postponing the festivals to next year. So did you already have like other festivals for next year, and you are making it work with this year festival postponed to next year, or do you have like a proper tour idea or something? Not yet, not much.
God, I hope so.
Yeah.
I love more than the stage. It's great. In all honesty, I don't really handle the booking, and we book about 1.5 years out, so I'm sure there was already a lot booked. But it just screwed everything up and pushed everything back. So I think it was all kind of up in the air. But I know our booking agents are hard at work getting going to make us real busy next year.
Because all the festivals are booked for, like, if you were booked this year, you are going to be rebooked next year, most of the cases. Awesome. And it's now like it's a cool thing, but also it's going to be very hectic here, especially for festival season. It's going to be pretty busy, and I'm okay with that. I'm happy.
You too, huh?
Yeah. But you know, it's
guys pretty well booked up right now for next year, or?
Yeah, we are actually we had like disastrous situation because we were about to go on tour with a string quartet in United States. It was the biggest tour we ever planned to do, and this like virus thing, like the big outbreak in Italy, which caused the quarantine thing. If you were joining, like going to United States, was just 1 week before that we had to go. Oh. So we got like we've been hurt pretty bad about this because we have to cancel everything. We tried to reschedule the tour at first in September because we didn't know how bad it was, and now we had to cancel once again, and we moved this tour to early 2021, but still we have to wait, and we don't even know if we are going to do that with the string quartet anymore because, you know, things are changing, and I don't even know if it's fair for the fans to do like a special tour with restrictions and you know, like stuff like that. I think we have to wait for something special, you know.
Yeah. You'll have to let me know when you're coming through so I can slide out.
Great. Yeah, it would be. Yeah, it would be great. Yeah, and yeah. So if we do the tour, we're gonna do early 2021. It's gonna be a tour in like for the album because we didn't tour much. We waited 2019 for 2020 for like big promotion of the album, and then you know the story.
Yeah.
So now we moved everything to 2021, but as well, we are working on new music, stuff like that, because it's what you can do now. You know, there's not much you can do at home.
Oh, I can't do much anyways. I broke my finger a month ago. Yeah, I dropped a brick on it. It's
okay.
Colors. I'm not shooting you the bird. So I haven't been playing for like a month right now. So, but yeah, I hear what you're saying because we were actually going to try to release our album late summer, early fall of this year. But if you can't tour on it, then what are you doing? So, you know, that's the whole purpose of doing it. So, so we're just going to hold it back and just keep working on it and dialing it in and just making it better and better. So.
Yeah. Also know that Francesco told me that you are a dog breeder.
I am. Personally, I don't breed the dog myself, but
yeah. How do you say that? Dog carer, breeder? How do you
dog breeder?
Dog breeder. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I breed Australian Labradoodles. I have a company called Happy Time Doodles.
Okay.
And you guys
can all special dogs breed.
They are. They don't shed. They're hyperallergenic and super smart. They a lot of them are used for service dogs, and so we sell to a lot of people that need them for service dogs, and as well as people that just can't have animals in their house or be around animals. I mean, I've actually taken my dogs and put them in the hands of people that can't even touch animals, and like the first time. So it's really cool.
That's unbelievable. You know the feeling. Yeah.
Oh, great, man! It'll bring it to your eye, man.
And I'm like, I wanted to talk about this because I think like it's always cool to see when you do something that is socially relevant, for other people, taking care of other people issues, and this is something that you never think about, like this is a problem that it's not a problem for the majority of the people, so you just don't know. And when Francesco told me, I was like, this guy is doing this, and I was like, wow, it's inspiring, because
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
It's it makes you feel great when you get to help a family out, because like every kid should have a dog, man. There's their companion, and it's they like to say it's man's best friend, and it really is like that. And so, when I have an opportunity to enlighten a kid's life, or enhance a kid's life with something like that, it really makes you feel good. So, I'm really proud of the work that we do, and
awesome.
It's really rewarding. It is.
Beautiful. If you wanna, do you have a site or something where you can?
I do. It's www.happytimedoodles.com.
Okay, so go there. And
we deliver too. So it'll either be me or my wife brings it right to you and puts it in your hands. We delivered last year to Barcelona. Yeah.
No. Okay. Maybe I didn't get it properly. So you meant that you take the dog and you fly the dog to Spain, and you fly with the dog to Spain?
Well, whoever bought it, that's where we go. Yeah.
But that is fucking incredible. Like,
well, you can't put a dog underneath in the storage area when they're a puppy like that, because you'll scar them, and you'll have a dog that's scared of everything. And so we hand deliver them. They sit in my lap the whole time over on the flight, and so we deliver all over the United States. Like I said, we've gone to Barcelona. We had somebody in Mexico. We don't do a whole lot of them out of the country. The reason is because you have to keep them for an extra month in quarantine to make sure they don't have rabies before you go overseas. Okay. And they get big. So the harder it is to get on the plane with them and everything, and it's just a hassle. So and then we usually send them through training too, so that they're behaved on the plane as well. So
awesome.
I will even autograph a puppy for you if you want one.
Awesome. Kamelot puppy. Great. So did it? I was just in Abby. She's the girl that she takes care of the caricature, the designs that we use on the flyers. Did you like yours?
I loved it, man. I loved it.
I'm happy to hear.
Send it over, just that picture, so I can use it for like my profile or something.
Of course. She also did the time lapse while she was drawing you. Beautiful. And I'm gonna send it to everything. And she's a super nice artist. And when I told her that you were one of the guests, she freaked out because you are one of her favorite musicians ever.
Oh, that's awesome.
So it was like, okay, I have to take her. Oh, I want to do it like this or like that. It did several trials, and now she wrote, I shouldn't draw him with some dogs. So now you have another opportunity to show Sean, how much you love him and how much you love Kamelot. So I want to just make a quick promo for her as well, because in this moment, it's very important to support artists in all the ways possible. She's super talented, and I want to thank her again for helping us out every week. So if you want to support her or buy some caricature design, whatever, you go to www.patreon.com/AbbyStabbyArt, and you will find a shitload of caricatures and stuff that you can already buy, or you can ask for yours or whatever. So, or just support her because she's super nice. So thank you guys for supporting her. And we have to try to stick into the metal community, stay together as much as possible, and support ourselves as much as possible.
Absolutely.
Nowadays.
Absolutely. I agree totally.
Okay, cool.
So, any questions? Has anybody got any questions on the Facebook?
Yeah, it's like... I'm a bad host, man. You know, I don't do this usually. I just for me it's just like a regular chat, and so I just forgot to.
Right.
Yeah,
I feel a little naked. I feel a little naked. I see myself in there without my beard. I'm not very metal right now.
You know, you don't have to. You don't have to be too much metal. You know, it's like. Okay, so there are a lot of questions. So what's your favorite Kamelot album?
I would say Silverthorn.
Silverthorn.
Actually, I don't know. I like a lot of them. I like the last one too. The Shadow Theory is really good too. I mean, those songs are so much fun to play, but it was the last one we wrote, so you know it's all fresh. The older ones, you know, once you've played everything a million times at these shows, it's kind of like, you know, I still love the songs, but after a while, it's kind of like going through the moves, man. But
yeah,
I like doing the newer ones.
Silverthorn, I love it. I remember that we were playing it like a lot while we were. I think we were writing Labyrinth or something like that, and we were freaking out. It was very cool album. Thanks. All right, so a lot of people say hi. They saw you many times. Gigs, people from Japan, from Moscow. Yeah, this guy said the restrictions suck, but the restrictions are the only way to, you know, slowly go back to normality. You know, if we don't have restrictions, you know, like, do you think, for example, it's a weird question, but I think it's very actual. Do you think that there's, would you like to, sorry, I'll rephrase it. Sorry for my English. Nowadays we discuss a lot about the fact of this like weird shows. Like I've just seen Doro playing shows for.
I saw that
cars.
With the cars.
Yes,
with the cars, right? That's awesome.
Yeah,
man. At least I got to play.
So what do you think about this? You know, like would you like do you think it's okay to go and do a show with restrictions, or it's better to wait to go back to normality and, you know, just do the show as we were playing shows before all this? Like, what's your feeling about this new things? Like even the live streaming concerts, or, you know, this like cars concerts, or just restrictions?
Well, I've reading some interviews with some of the people that have done some of the shows with the car thing. She's not the only one I don't think that's done that. I think there's been a couple other people, and they were all saying how weird it was to be playing up there and without the crowd energy being right on you, you know. Mm-hmm. So I don't know, man. That's the whole thing. Is like even festivals. I love playing festivals just because it's, you know, it's like looking at a sea of people, which is just wonderful. But at the same time, I also like playing a full club where people can reach up and grab you, you know, and you can shake hands with them and stuff like that too, because you get that vibe off the crowd. So as far as restrictions go, man, I don't know. I mean, it depends on what they are, I guess. If everyone's just wearing a mask, but they can still be in there, I guess, yeah, that's cool. But is that the proper answer? Probably not. You know, if you're touching each other and you're sweating on each other, which is what they, you know, it's a pit, you know, it's probably not the right thing to do. I'm on the stage, so I'm not in the pit. So.
Yeah.
But,
that's the main concern, I think, like for the fans.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I mean, we are now discussing about this live streaming concert, which is, of course, another thing which doesn't, you know, put fans to any risks. You know, if they check you from the computer, no problem. But we were discussing about this, like tours that we didn't cancel yet. One is in October, for example, and like the majority of the clubs are going to have restrictions. And we were thinking, if it's fair, or how it's going to be. Like some of the clubs just want to have people, you know, on the seats.
Right.
So it's just to, you know, be sure that they are going to respect the social distancing rules, because otherwise they cannot control. They are going to start moshing or stuff like that. It's like, I was going to be like, for me to, you know, sing and scream and put all the energy in front of like a cinema audience or something like that, you know, it's going to be fucked up. for me,
Yeah,
I guess.
we played in New York, and I can't remember what venue it was, and they had the seats that were all bolted to the floor and it was like an opera house almost kind of thing. And it was the weirdest thing to see our crowd sitting down, man. I was just like, and it couldn't get up if they wanted to because the seats are in the way, It's very strange. It takes the vibe right out of it, It takes the whole coolness of the whole live show thing out of it, I feel like. But, I mean, I guess we got to do it just to keep everyone safe. Whatever it takes, man, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't have a good answer. I don't have a good answer for it. Here's the thing: it's like
maybe you don't have a good answer because it was a bad question.
I wouldn't say that. I mean, I don't know what the answer is I guess what I'm trying to say. Because I want to go play. People want to see us play. But at the same time, I don't want to get sick, and I don't want them to get sick. So, this whole not going out thing wasn't to stop it. It was here. It wasn't. It was really more about letting the hospitals be prepared. That whole curve I'm talking about is because when it all broke out, there wasn't enough hospital rooms and beds and ventilators.
Yeah.
So it was really more about just slowing it down until the medical could get caught up. And so now they are. And so I think that's part of the reason they're lifting the restrictions here. Yeah.
Technically, it's the only way. Actually, as I said, we are the proof that these restrictions are the only way to lower the curve of contagion. And if we want to restart even gradually to do shows and whatever, we have to stick with it, Well, until the vaccine or something like that somehow is going to, if it's going to work.
That freaks me out, man, the whole vaccine thing. It's not that I'm one of those anti-vaccine people. What freaks me out, though, is that did they rush it? And now everyone's going to have a third arm or something coming out of them, I got to scratch my nose. It's over here now. I'm a little nervous about taking anything that's been rushed, because it's always like, oh, hey, you know what? Well, now you're going to die.
Yeah. I feel you, man. So there's another question here which is pretty interesting about the dogs. What does Sean think of adopting dogs, especially seniors, from shelters or buying over the internet from non-reputable breeders? Non-reputable breeders. I don't know how is that in English. Reputable. Yeah, reputable.
Right. So we're a reputable breeder. And here's the thing with that is, and I get the people out there that don't like breeders. I understand where they're coming from. But here's the difference is all of our dogs, they come fixed. When you get a dog from us, it's been spayed and neutered. So you're not, if everyone bought from a reputable dealer like us and bought dogs that were spayed and neutered, there wouldn't be any dogs in those shelters to have. All my dogs are microchipped and are registered to me. Whether you own it or not, it's still registered to me. So like if you are a bad person and you put that dog in a shelter, they're going to call me. And so I would come get it. And that's exactly, my dogs are like my kids, man. And so I'm giving you one of my kids. So that's what my stance is on it. If everyone did what we did, there wouldn't be a problem. The problem is you got people that are just breeding that don't really know what they're doing. And they're just throwing dogs together and they're putting them out there and selling them. And they're not getting them fixed and they're not getting them microchipped like we are.
Yeah.
And that, then that's where you're getting all these strays and the shelters and such. So that's my feel about it.
Okay. So, all right. So I see people like saying any old Kamelot songs you would like to bring back to the set list. Something that you like that you don't play.
Let's see. 100 Seasons. Really, I really enjoyed that one. That's probably one of my favorite ones right there. There was another one I heard the other day. I can't think of the name of it because I haven't heard it in so long. I would have to look on the album. It's been a while. Love You to Death. Another great one.
Okay, cool.
That's a really good one. That's a fun song too. We did that for I think one tour, man, and that was it. But it's funny because like a lot of the old stuff, we bring it out. And, and we constantly get asked, hey, why aren't you playing this? Why aren't you playing that? And then we'll do it. And then like 3 people in the audience are like, yay. And everyone else is looking at
No.
When are they going to play the? When are they going to play the one I know? You know, they're all looking at.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm going to go get here. You know, so like the old stuff, I get why people want to hear the old stuff, but the thing is, the majority of the people know the newer stuff. You know, and old fans die off, and fans get bigger. And the thing is, when you get a new fan, they're more than likely they have heard your new stuff and they relate to that. So, and it seems like we're gaining. Kamelot is lucky in that, yes, we're an older band. Okay, not older. We've been around for a while.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of music out there, and we're lucky that that the industry has supported us all this time. But we are gaining fans. You know, we're still doing this, which is great. I'm very thankful about that. That we're doing that, and so we're gaining more fans.
You always release good music, man.
Oh, thanks. Thank you so much.
Yeah. I mean, like, you know, I'm not surprised. I mean, like, especially all the, like, artistical things, like, there's always an artistic value in your music. And this is going to be forever perceived by the people. So it's, I think, I wouldn't say that it's independent by the label or whatever, but when you produce good music, then, you know, you are going to grow forever. Like, you are a legendary power metal band, and everybody knows, and everybody, you know, is waiting for you to release an album. So
we, you know, we take a lot of pride in that our albums all sound different. You know, and that's the other thing too, is people are like, oh, why don't you play more of the old stuff? It's like, you know, you got to grow. You're an artist. You got to grow as an artist, man. And your music changes as you grow.
Yes.
We're not doing as much of the fiddly diddly stuff as we used to do. It's still there, but it's still technical music, but it's not really crazy technical stuff like it used to. And actually, I kind of enjoy that part of it because it lets me, as a bass player, relax a little bit, and gives me a little more time to do my show and jump around and have fun and mess with the equipment and all that stuff. But I don't know. I feel very fortunate that we are still gaining new fans. I mean, we have kids, little kids coming to our show that are like 10 and 12, you know, coming to the show, and they're in the front row with their headphones on. It's amazing. And then at the same time, on the other end of the stage, there'll be Thomas's side of the stage, there'll be a woman that's like 85 years old. So, you know, Thomas is going to love me for that one.
Yeah. All right. So last quick questions. I don't want to bother you anymore. It's like already more than 45 minutes. It's always a pleasure. You are super nice, man.
Hey, thank you. Hey, you said you got Herman coming on after me, man. Herman and I are both car guys. We did a tour together a couple years ago, and he's got a Porsche and I've got a hot rod, and so we're kind of car guys. We got that in common.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna invite you. I'm gonna invite him before you leave, so you can meet. Okay. Yeah. Last questions, very important. How long are your braids by now?
Well, I keep cutting them, man, because they were getting so long that it's like I was getting them tangled in everything. So they're about halfway down my back. Maybe a little bit more. Yeah. I keep them all with my hat. They're not actually braids at the moment. They're just a big wad of hair right now because I can't get braided up all the time, or I think your hair will probably fall out. So it's all in a big giant man bun on top of my head right now.
Okay.
And I'm not showing you my man bun.
You have your answer. And yeah, it's been also, I remember, I think we met in, I don't know if you remember, but we met in the 70 Tons of Metal.
Yeah, that's what I said it's been a while since we saw each other.
You were killer show, man.
You guys killed it, man. It was so good.
I don't remember if we killed it. You know, I have very, very, like, you know, weird memories of those cruises. Yeah. It's like
it's all the free drinks, man.
Yeah. It's like always, that's super cool. I don't know if they're gonna do it again like this year. I think it's pretty scary to go on the boat this year. I don't know. Like, I have no idea if it's gonna happen or not. But it's always it's super cool to go there.
If they have it, we're gonna do it again. So I'm excited about it. For this year, you are confirmed for 20. I don't think we would do it this year. It's probably gonna be the year after. It'd probably be 22, I would imagine. If I haven't talked to our booking agent about it. We originally were going to go do it in 21, but I don't know if they're actually having it. So I don't know what the deal is with it. So, but I love that cruise, man. We've done it 3 times now, and the first one was the first time we did it was the second cruise they had ever done, and it was on a little boat called the Majesty, which that boat sucked. That new one that they have that we just did it on, that you and I were on, is amazing. That thing was so much fun, man. I had a great time.
It was good. It was fucking good. And I really always it's one of the best shows. Like, not the playing shows there is weird, but it's the experience, the overall thing that is super cool. Stay in touch with fans and, check all these artists all the time. Like, meet people. Like, I met, I think 1/2 of the musicians that I know there. Like, because it's like a big festival, and you share, the dining room and everything, and it's super cool. It's beautiful.
Man, I was on that cruise. One of my favorite memories on that cruise was it was 2:00 in the morning, and it was pouring freaking rain, man. And I'm up on the deck, and Dying Fetus was up there playing. Just it was awesome, man. And I swear to God, the wind was blowing from the stage to me.
Yeah,
like leaning into the wind, which made me feel like it was his voice holding me up. I was just like, man. It was really fun, man. Those guys kicked butt, man. It was great.
Awesome, man. Yeah. So actually, we have some other experts of the cruises, which are Dragonforce. Dragonforce are renowned band for being super. They did he also did the underwater solo thing, Yeah. So before I let you go, I want to thank you because you're super nice, and it's been a super nice chat. I think people enjoyed it so much, and I want to invite Herman Lee from Dragonforce before you leave, so we can stay all us 3 for a minute. Are you there? Not ready. Not yet. Today is wild.
Yeah.
Today is wild.
There he is.
Here we are. Hey, man. How are you? All good?
Herman.
Can you hear us?
Nope.
Oh, am I supposed to say anything? I thought I'm just going to be quiet.
Yeah.
Herman, what's up, man? Sean.
Hey, what's up? I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm great, man. I'm great. I was just telling them about our we're both kind of car guys, and so you still got the port?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, so Sean, thank you very much for being with us. It's been a real pleasure. We love Kamelot, and we love you. And all the best with your, dog breathing thing. And thank you very much for being with us. And see you soon on the road, hopefully.
All right, man.
The next year we're gonna share some festival stages for sure.
Sounds good.
Cool, man. Take care. Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye, man. Hi, Herman.
Cool. Hi. Yeah. So I didn't want to interfere and drop into the call. I was going, oh man, am I supposed to say? I was like being quiet. Going, oh shit, they don't know I'm here.
No.
Yeah. Trying to keep it like, oh, I'm not here.
You told me you guys are like car mates. You bought these cars, and it was like, okay, I'm gonna invite him before you leave, so you can say hi. You said that you did a tour together 2 years ago.
Yeah, actually, look back now, that's like 5 years ago. It's like time passes by quick, and we did a tour with Kamelot 5 years ago in I think the US. That was like at least 3 albums ago. That's how long it's been. Yeah, it was fun. It was we had a good fun together. Yeah, old man, middle age, they buy a sports car. It's kind of like it seems like to be a thing. And there you go. I'm a man of a few Porsches now. Whatever is happening.
Okay, cool. All right, so you live in California, right?
Yeah, I'm in Los Angeles at the moment. And hi chat, hi Facebook chat, hi YouTube chat. It'll be rude to not say hi to everyone out there.
Yeah.
Hi chat.
Yeah. Yeah, you're in Los Angeles. How is the situation in Los Angeles right now? It's okay? Like California in general? It's fine.
I mean, yeah. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, US is very different than what European thinks. For someone who lived in London most of my life, I would say you don't really know what happens in the US until you actually live there and you understand the culture and how different it is, where things are, just the whole thing is different. And I didn't know really about it until I really properly live here for a number of years. I mean, look, I live in a nice area, but they emptied out the expensive stores down not far from me, 5 minutes drive from me. They looted it's called I think the Lehman Markets, which like very expensive brands in there, because all the police was down the other side, looking after the protest. I mean, it's pretty crazy, but it seems like this is a very serious issue they have to address in this country.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, of course, but they are like I really hope that all this situation is going to be kind of fixed, if it's possible, in the next few months. I don't know, in next few weeks, next few days, I don't know.
Years probably. We're gonna argue about it for years and years.
I'm just trying to be optimistic, and I'm just trying to it's something that they had to deal with for eons now. So I don't know, but how about the virus situation instead?
So this is pretty crazy. I mean, look, I'm in California, so it's in Los Angeles. This is a major city where people actually are respecting, things for a while. It was so quiet, around here. There's no traffic for once. For a while, when you have to go buy something, which was like, wow, that's unusual. But I mean, I drove past a restaurant the other day. They were watching the UFC fights, and there was people eating and drinking in it. And they had no masks on. So,
what's your feeling about that?
I mean, look, I'm not going out anywhere. Literally, I don't go out anywhere. The only time I go out, I went for a drive with my friends, and we don't even, we have masks on. We went for a drive with Tosin Abassi, Misha Mansour from Periphery and Animals as Leaders. We just hang out, but that's about it. That's the only thing I do. You go to the supermarket as little as possible. And because the first wave never really finished here, so they're already reopening everything up. So it's pretty crazy if you look at it. Before our tour in the US got canceled, we had a great time playing in Los Angeles, and then a week after it was all over.
Yeah. So you interrupted the tour.
Yeah, we had the sold out US tour pretty much. And I didn't know how you can have a sold out US tour and lose money, because you only done 1 week of it. We done 1 week of it. It was awesome. And then suddenly it's like we got to Minneapolis. We drove so far with a travel day. And then we got there, it was a sold out show and was canceled, and had to fly back and, buy tickets for everyone to fly back. It was exactly what it was, but that's fine.
Yeah. I know. It was completely unexpected, and yeah, I think you were like when you started. It was still something that wasn't that clear, especially even from the news from Europe. Like it was like, okay, we have the tour, it's not canceled. Imagine that we were still discussing to go to Mexico even 2 or 3 days before we had to cancel the show, because we had a festival before the US tour. And so it was so fucking weird and wild in that moment that you couldn't plan anything like properly. You didn't have any idea of what to do. Like my friends in Somnium, they flew there. I think they played one show, and then they have to fly back. Like, so they did only one show. Unbelievable. But yeah, so what are you doing right now during this lockdown moments era? Like, let's say lockdown era.
Well, to be honest, it sounds really crazy, but I'm busier than I've been on tour. It's like it's really the busiest time I have. I'm got so much work piled up, I can't even get through them. It's a weird thing. I mean, I don't know. There's so many things I needed to do that I didn't do, and now I'm finally doing them. And the more you do, the more it becomes like you do some work and you get a reply back, and it asks you for 3 more things. And it's actually been good because I've been live streaming on Twitch the last 2 years anyway. So I don't know if people don't know Twitch. Well, Twitch is a live streaming platform. Mm-hmm. They're owned by Amazon. A lot of it is people say it's video games, but really it's very diverse. You know, you got from people cooking doing live stream cooking to walking around with a backpack on holiday, to me playing guitar, giving guitar lessons. You know, just chatting to fans and no, really kind of anything. And we stream our shows live on tour.
On Twitch.
Every shows. I mean, whenever there's a good enough connection, I have a POV cam attached to my shoulder, and you can see me playing on stage, and you can see what's happening while I'm playing. And so, you know, just carries on. I stream at home as well. Okay. You know, you can see there's a lot of guitars here. I have about 154 guitars.
How many?
154. We got 155 coming. And this is just a small selection of them. So I go through technical setup with fans. I teach them how things work. Test guitar, review guitars, play Dragonforce songs on, you know, guitars that are way too difficult to play on, you know, from Fender Strats to anything, you know, I don't know. So it's been a lot of fun doing that. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite one out of the 155?
Yeah, one of the ones I'll show you actually.
Yeah. Beautiful.
This is a PRS that you cannot buy. It's a one-off they made for me at the private stock division. You see how thin this is? This is a thin tape from the PRS. Look at the joint on that. You never get that on the PRS on a joint like that. And this is a very unique guitar. You can't buy one. It's just a prototype guitar they made for me. Since I don't, you know, I used to play Ibanez, but you know, I discontinued my model earlier this year. So I'm a free agent. I just play whatever guitar I want. It's actually really, it's really good.
Super light.
Super light, but we made modification to improve upon my old signature guitar. So this is actually way better, and I'm kind of shocked at how they did that in one go already. That's a much better guitar than the one I've been using the last 10 years. But it costs $20,000 if you're going to get it, you know, as a one-off, you know, since it's not production.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So you released the album into 2019.
Yes.
Okay. So did you take this time off also to write some new music, or you just said, okay, no, we wait for, you know, the time to promote this album properly, and then we're gonna start writing new music after that? Just curious.
Well, the original plan is, you know, we played our first show on the album release date, which was on TwitchCon, which is a Twitch convention. Okay. And we got that streamed to like, you know, 1.7 million people. Just like everything started off great. It's awesome. We have a sold out tour happening. We just, you know, everything was going well. And then, you know, we were going to film a music video for every single Dragonforce song on that album. Wow. And we got halfway through it, you know, and COVID-19 happened. So the tour stopped. Some videos, we can't even complete them. You know, we filmed some of it.
You have just parts.
Yeah, we filmed all of it, but we need some more footage. So we got like videos on hold now. And instead, well, we're writing a new album. Why not? Just like everybody, right? You just write a new album when you're sitting at home. And strangely enough, it's almost finished.
I thought it was a pretty tricky question, because for me it wasn't that easy to write at first. Like when we discovered this, it was like, okay, we have to stay home. Fine. We are gonna do some stuff like producing content for the socials, starting doing something like this video podcast, which is something completely new for me. Like we just started two months ago, and just to stay in touch with people, to explore and try some new stuff, because we never put any limit to our creativity. So we were like, why not? And at the same time, I was like, okay, I'm now plenty of time, so I should be, on the computer writing stuff. And nothing, like at first it was bad. I don't know how it was for you. Like I felt like, just like sometimes you write, but you need a perspective while you write. Like, okay, I'm gonna write a riff or a song or a section, and I think, oh, this live is gonna be super cool, and then you realize that there is not gonna be any live anytime soon, and you feel like there's like a block, something like you feel weird. I felt weird. So I'm impressed that you find like comfortable to start writing straight away, even if you had your head full of these issues, like uncompleted footage, or like the tour that was canceled. Now all these things affected my songwriting. I am impressed.
Well, the way Dragonforce work is the only time you can write is when you're not touring. So if we don't write something now and work on something now, we can never finish it, because the touring starts next March at the moment, and it's just like, you look at the dates. I look at my dates, I go, well, when is this going to stop? And I kind of thought, well, is it really going to start next March at all, depending on the countries? So it's like, we better get this album recorded, most of it, before the touring starts. You basically have to finish it before the touring starts. That's my view. That's only possible, obviously, if you can record yourself, and we always record, most of the album ourselves. And so
last two albums you did it with Jens Bogren, right?
The last one, the one that just came out last year, we did it with Damien Renault in Los Angeles, and he used to work with Logan Mader, the producer, but he also does a lot of he's from France, but he lives in Los Angeles. He's a producer, and he's really, really, really did a good sound. Just easier to do in LA, and he was a great producer. But before we did Jens Bogen, but to be honest, I never turned up to Sweden to do anything.
Yeah,
I just do it at home. I got all the stuff I need to do at home. So
yeah,
I'm not.
I knew G were there, like tracking drums there.
Yeah, that's right. The drums and stuff like that. I know you guys, did some keyboards. Yeah.
Francesco worked with you guys on that album with the other project that we have. Yeah.
Extra orchestration.
It was awesome.
It was cool.
Some stuff. Cool.
Yeah.
And it's it's a very weird moment though.
Yeah, it's a weird time. I mean, you really should. I mean, when I do my Twitch, I do music business advice and band music advice. And I say to band now, you gotta, this is your time to sort out everything to do with the business part of your band. If there are changes you want to make, management, labels, anything, this is the time. You never really get that much gap as a musician. Once the touring kicks off, I know we have cell phones, but it's very difficult to concentrate your mind on it when you got to do sound check, you got to do a show, then you got to do, you got to do meet and greet, you got to get back on the bus. This is the time to make those changes you need in order for the band to move forward. If you're not happy with something, agent, time to make that change. Yeah, same as making the album.
Yes, it's a gap that can be very helpful. Yes, to reproject or like everything. What's your feeling about new bands? I mean, like I got, because you were talking about this. It's like I'm giving on Twitch some suggestions to people, about how to manage a band or to start with a band, and I got these questions a lot of time, especially from bands from Italy, which is not an easy country to come up with a metal band, of course. And I never have like the right answer for this, because I think we belong to the last, not Dragonforce, of course, but FLESHGOD at least belongs to the last generation that made it in the industry with a regular method. recording a demo, sending a demo to a label, and get picked up from a label and start touring. That was the path. After that, it was much more wild, much more complicated. I've seen contracts from several labels which are very weird, and now with all the streamings and social media promotions, everything changed. What would you suggest to younger bands to make it in the music scene right now?
Well, before I get into that, I gotta say, I gotta congratulate you, because as a band from Italy, you guys have got more difficulty to break out in order to do what you guys achieve. So congratulations. It's not easy.
Thank you very much. It's complicated. Yes, I know.
Yeah, it's a long story, but we understand, musicians ourselves in the business, how it's more difficult. If you lived in Sweden or Finland, it's a little bit easier than being in Italy, making a metal band and
they have they have a scene, and they have absolutely more they have a history like many bands. And so if a label wants to invest, they want to invest in something that is, it works for sure. They just want to take a risk. I'm happy that Nuclear Blast wanted to take a risk with us, at first, because it was like, a death metal, symphonic death metal band from Italy, super weird. But yeah, it worked out pretty much. Now we have 4 albums with them, and we are also streaming on their channel. So we have their trust, and it's great.
Yeah, with the new musicians, I think and I'll tell you, my view will change with the times. So someone might go back and say, well, Herman said that. Well, that was this time right now. Because we must be flexible, right? The way tech companies have changed the industry of how we interact and do our bands. And let's look at it this way. There's a number of things we have to do. Obviously, we have to do all the social, digital marketing ourselves in order. And we understand the record label these days, with the way the money distributed in the world when it comes to music, they want to pick up something that they don't have to do any work. The record label just want to say, oh, this band, they can play, they can record it. We don't have to spend any money. They don't want to risk anything. And now with the pandemic, labels will not want to spend money risking. And they don't really invest in a band in the way it used to be, right? In the used to be, we would go on tour. The label would lend us $70,000 or euro to do a tour. No way in hell they're going to do that. So you guys, young musicians have to be self-sufficient. So, and luckily with the technology and computer, there's no more excuses, right? We all have a phone. If someone don't reply to you, within a day in a young band, they can't be bothered, Yeah. So what I would say is everyone got to learn something about the music business. There's so much you can Google, you can explain to you what's going on, because you don't want to be in that position in a few years' time. If you do make it, that you've given control to someone who hasn't been looking after you correctly. You need to understand. So you have to have an eye on whoever you get. If you're going to get a manager, if you're going to manage yourself, this is important, because the artistic and the management can go off in the wrong direction, not separating if there's success happening. But someone in the band have to learn about how to be best scenario. Let's say best case scenario. We have someone who's a great songwriter. Everyone contribute their parts. But you have someone who's great at doing digital, social media, someone who's good at doing video editing, because the multimedia is so important. And you got someone who's great at recording, understand the stuff that is needed to make music happen, to record it. And of course, you're not going to be the best at everything yet, but it's a slow growing thing. And if you take an interest in all these things, you have your complete package as a band. You got all your website, everything sorted, your social, and then the traditional stuff of playing live is important, because we know, of course, there are players who are really good on YouTube, and they have concentrated all the energy and power into editing, recording, absolutely brilliant players. But they do not experience that live stage. And as a band, you still need that. So I think that's the next generation is going to be a modern and the traditional approach all together, crossing to make the ultimate, new band.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, that was a long answer.
Long answer, but very precious. And I think, it's, I agree, absolutely. And I think that even the old bands that want to survive, somehow they have to reproject the way they do this, they care of all this stuff, because it's even us, like we are trying to be more active on socials, to try to be more efficient in video making and everything. It's very important because right now the music is very important, and it's still very important. As I heard some people say, so it's not important as before. Now, if you are a good video maker or whatever, you make it. And I don't agree. I think that the music is still the core, is still central. You need to have like a very good production musical wise, because it's a band in the end. But at the same time, you have to find the best ways to promote this music. Otherwise, it's totally pointless. So, and this it's important for old bands as well, not just for the new bands.
Yeah.
Sometimes they just.
Yeah,
they just like, they say, oh, I'm from another era. I just don't want to, this social media thing is bothering me or whatever. But I don't think that this is going to last forever. I mean, like, you have to adapt if you want to survive, and that's it. You have to stick with it. 2020 is not like 2010 is not like 2000. It's time flies, and the technology are changing completely the way we listen to music, the way we go to concerts. Like, imagine live streaming concerts, as you said, like the Twitch thing, or like all the streaming thing. We just heard that they're not gonna produce CDs anymore. Did you heard this new? Like one of the last company that were producing CDs said that they're just not producing CDs anymore, because it's like everything is streaming. So you have like a few collectors that are very pissed off about this, because they still want to buy the physical copy. But at the same time, it is what it is, like, it's people just have the music on their phone, and that's it. And the quality is high. So we have to adapt.
And, to be honest, everyone talk about this quality and stuff. And we try to talk about, we're going to do 192 kilohertz recording, 24-bit and stuff. You know what? It does sound better, but people are using, terrible headphones. So, to listen to music anyway, no one's buying a $3,000 in-ear system to listen to music mostly. So what we're looking at, the song is still the most important thing, because I can put a great song on a cassette and listen to it. Yeah. The melodies, those hooks, there's always, it's a forever thing, right? And production, as great it is important, because it's the first thing you hear when you hear a song. You don't hear the melody yet. You don't hear anything yet. It is the production, So I think song is still as important as ever. And having that big song still make a difference to a band. It's like there's always going to be fans coming and going, right? People get married, people have kids, people get over it. That the ex-boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever left, they don't like metal anymore. I listen to it because of that, right? But there's always someone growing up, someone being born every day too.
But I want to say that the metal fans are pretty loyal, let's say. So they really want to buy. They still like to buy the CDs. So it might be a shame, if they are not gonna produce anything like a CD or whatever, or just as a memorabilia or something like that. Just say, this guy Charles said, just buy vinyl. Yeah, it's an option. Like the vinyl market is going up a lot right now. So the CD is going to be something like vinyl, I think, in the next few years. It's going to be like, if you want to listen to music, you're going to listen to Spotify or Apple Music, this stuff, or download it from iTunes, whatever. Not just putting the CD in the CD reader anymore. I don't think they are gonna have like CD readers anymore in cars in the next few years. They just, I don't think so. I mean,
yeah. I mean, I think they'll still have in the cars for a bit. I have them in my cars. CD
in the
players
Porsche,
still.
do you have a CD player in the Porsche?
We still have CD player, and you know, I mean, I don't use it. I buy the new CD and I put it on my phone. Do you know what I mean? It's like
it's always the same. Yeah,
it's the same. But you know, I like to buy the CD just because if you're gonna spend that money, I want that product. You know, I want to have that CD. Then just a vapor, you know, just like thing that you can't hold is a little bit is, you know, it doesn't do it for me. So I do like to have that product itself, but not everyone think the same way. And I think if you look at it, there are a lot of people that consume music. They're not necessarily metal fans, but they listen to a wide genre of music now, and they should not be discarded because with the internet, right? You know, you can search for anything, and you always have people discovering metal, and they still listen to different kind of music. So it's not really a problem, and they would not buy a CD because that's not in their how do you say, not culture, but in what they believe in. You know, metal fans, we want to have the product. I don't have that many CDs here, but back in London, man, I got racks of CDs in my house. Now I don't have anything here.
Michael said, I can't imagine paying for music without getting a physical copy. I also buy the CD, I rip it to my computer. As you said, you know, like that's what we all do. Like, or like you can buy this and also get your iTunes copy or whatever. I've been listening to metal since I was like 10. I don't think real metalheads ever stop loving metal. They just change preferences for subgenres every once in a while. I agree. I said I think that metal fans are pretty loyal. I think right now under this COVID-19 situation, our merch store is doing great. For example, you know, they help us, they support us a lot, so it's great. And they still buy music, they still stream us. So it's I think that it's gonna be like metal will never die, and then probably the CD will die, but you know, we will find another way to create something which is physical. And that I've seen that lately also the cassettes, they are starting printing cassettes, you know, like as like
we looked into that too. We looked into printing cassette our last album, because our last album we got a very retro vibe with the artwork, so we were going to do cassette limited version of them, but we just didn't get around to. But funny enough, you know, if the fans out there listening, if they really want to support the bands they love, buy the CD, and when you listen to it on streaming. There you go. Yeah. So this forces these companies to give us a little bit of money. They don't give you much, you know. They don't give you much.
I think it's 0.00001 cent per streaming, but
they don't give you that much. But, but of course, you know, it's still a possibility that, and it's about showing people out in the world that music is still an important thing. That don't think it's you know, they think like, oh, video game industry eclipsed the music. You know, music is still like, it's just like junk. Well, it's not, because a good song, you listen to it forever. You know, we have certain songs that is still listened to. Like we get like 112 million views on YouTube, or you know, it carries on. People still commenting. I got like, I don't know, 1,000 views per day on it. You know, on the video. Yeah. So you know, good music is important. But yeah, if you want to help musicians, stream it and buy it.
Both.
Yeah. Don't have to. Yeah.
Okay. They say I miss the leaflets in the CD case. Say, do you guys make more money? I think if we buy CD or download, stream it with the CD, I guess. Still.
Actually, maybe not. Actually, well, it depends on the cut, right?
Yeah.
So if you buy a CD, how much does it cost in Italy? Or 10,000? Yeah.
You mean like compared to the final price? No, definitely download then.
Yeah, download, because what happens is that
maybe yes. if you compare to the final price, yes, absolutely. Like
Yeah.
a CD is like between 15 20 euros, which is like $15-20.
Oh, really? That's expensive. That's really expensive for CD.
Depends which you can even have like 25. Depends on
Yeah.
what was the first. There was a guy or girl. I just missed it because this Facebook thing is too fast for me. What was the first CD you ever bought?
Me?
Yeah.
I think that was like the CD, the first CD I ever bought. It was Nirvana.
Nirvana.
Like Nirvana. What's that one? Nevermind. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, CDs are not expensive, to be honest, because how much they cost to produce. You think about it. What am I saying? Well, I'm saying compared to like in the US anyway. Do you think about it? CDs is actually better value than buying a video game, because once you finish playing a video game in your 40 hours, you're never going to play it again. A music, you can listen to it forever. You don't get bored of it. So music is actually a bargain. You think about it.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree. I'm not a big fan of video games as well, so I super agree. I mean, like, I'm not. I just don't know this world. I am just discovering this world with my kid.
Slowly. Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm very, I wasn't that much into technology, and so I'm slowly getting to it with Mario. Right now I'm pretty good at Mario Kart.
Good.
All right.
Nice.
So there's also, without music, video games are boring. Like, this is a perfect example of of your history, like the Through the Fire and the Flames song.
Mm-hmm.
Like it became kind of like legendary thing happened to a band.
Yeah, it was pretty random. I mean, we didn't expect anything from something like that. Obviously, I knew the game because I'm a gamer myself, but I didn't expect people to take off on that, because at that time, when Dragonforce was around, playing guitar solos was just still an uncool thing. It was just like people go, oh, "Why are you doing that?"
Really?
Back then, absolutely. You think about it, when we came out, the most popular style of music in the world is dominated by American bands, which is like the metalcore bands. They don't play any solos. It just wasn't into it. And we like ripping it, the long solo in Human Rampage, that album. So it was still uncool. And I spoke to some people, and they really believe that album made a big difference to spawn a generation of people actually practicing the guitar after playing that video game.
Wow.
Yeah. So
it was like, it was like inspiring for people to start actually playing the real guitar.
Yeah, there was because you think about that era, the television dominated, the press dominated. Choosing was like, still kind of new metalcore. This is what you should listen to, and that really kind of showed people different kind of music. There was Eric Johnson on it. There was different kind of music on the Guitar Hero game that people don't usually discover. I think it did great. It did great for us. We have a platinum record from that. So that's more than $1 million sold. Wow. I think it's 1.3 million sold.
1.3 million sold.
Yeah, at the moment. Okay. Yeah, last counted. So you to get a platinum record, you need 1 million sold. So, I mean, it obviously helped us, and it was it was a surprising thing.
Congratulations about this.
Yeah, it was surprising. So it's pretty strange. I mean, people still play that song in a video game, and it became a meme song now. It's a meme. People cover that. People do all kind of things on it, and I enjoy it. I actually have a good laugh. I see like super dog cool versions, animal versions, covers of it that people like to do. Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah. It's I think that I've seen like a lot of drum covers of this song, guitar covers. It's incredible. It's a super cool song, super catchy, and it's. I'm happy for you. Congratulations for this result. I like hearing now in 2020 that you got like over 1 million albums sold for that song. Like, it's incredible. I mean, like, it's outstanding for a metal band.
Yeah, we got very lucky.
Very not common at all. Even if you are like a very like if the kind of this subgenre, the genre of metal you play is very catchy, you know, it's for a power metal song like that one, you know, it's impressive, you know.
And which comes to, I'll tell you the story on this one, is it comes to you have to kind of look after the business of your band. So I'll give you a story of how it happened, actually. Maybe you inspire young musicians to want to look after the business, because I know a lot of people say, oh, I'm just an artist. I do music. I don't care about all the business. I want to get a manager. And so I managed the band up to 2006. You know, I did the deals. I found the lawyers. I found the record deals. I did the put it together, find the publishing.
You're a great manager.
You know, and you know, I try my best as a young guy who just learning on the spot. Yeah. And then at that time in 2005 or 2004, actually, I said to Noise Records, who signed us, who they don't exist anymore, you know, Noise Records, but they released Halloween. They did a lot of great classic albums. I said to them, look, I believe Dragonforce, the way we are, is a little bit different. I believe we should try to, you know, release the album in America. I think there may be some interest down there. And they said, no, Herman, no one listens to this kind of music in America. It's just a waste of time. We're not going to release it in the US.
Okay.
So, you know, of course, I just ignore them anyway. We try to do everything possible with the digital world, like with the MySpace stuff, and you know, promote ourselves with mp3.com at that time. And later on, Roadrunner Records in 2005 wrote to me on our website, just say, oh, what is Dragonforce doing? Are you guys have a release there? And that's when I spoke to them, and I've pretty much made Noise Records do a licensing deal to Roadrunner Records in America to release the album. So the album actually came out 6 months after the European release. You know, it was pretty late, but we're still able to, you know, get onto it, and you know, obviously with luck on our side as well, to make it happen. So it's important musicians to understand how the scene operates and understand how deals work, and as much as possible. So you know, for me right now, apart from doing the band, I'm working on starting actually just a small management company for bands to help musicians, because coming from my side as a musician.
What's the name of your management?
We don't have a name yet, so we're just, you know, working on ideas to, you know, try to, you know, be fair to musicians. You know, let's say, look at the world out there. Have you ever heard of it's only been how to say, you know, it's always, look, I see managers driving expensive sports cars while the band have barely any money. You know, so at the end, the music.
But this is gonna be your case, because you're gonna go around driving a Porsche.
But you know, I mean,
joking.
Understanding, the musician understand the business and working with a management who's fair, I think we're able to achieve something that's going to keep the musician happy. You know, the manager shouldn't. You know, I would like to try something, hopefully from my experience, to be able to bring something to the scene. Because the artist creates first. If the artist didn't exist, none of these people are making any money.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they always get paid last, the musician. That's pretty unfair.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know. Yes, but we felt pretty lucky. I think we are pretty lucky with the situation that we had. And that's why it's very hard to answer to that question. Like, it's very hard to give suggestions to new bands. Like, the only thing I can say is that try to focus on your music. But as you said, it's very important the way you manage the band and the way you communicate. You know, with no marketing idea, with no any kind of like, if you don't want to know anything about music industry or whatever, or managers or whatever, it's something that it's not going to help you anyway. It's not going to bring you anywhere. Like so it's very important to take care of all this, and it's very good to know that you are of a new company and that you want to help like new bands and new musicians. I guess power metal musicians, or all you have like bands with all like different genres, or
I mean, it's just starting off of course, you know, we're looking see what, but metal music really, because that's my specialty, understanding what the music is. And I'm talking about management that is very open, that you can see all the accounting, you can see everything. And we want to educate the bands that if we work with to understand the accounting, to understand the business, to understand the contracts they're signing, because that's the only way to make a relationship where the musicians isn't paranoid to think, well, is he stealing money from me? Well, you got to look at the contracts. You got to look at what the deal you have with the management, what the record deals are. And I think, a lot of the time, just musicians don't know. So hopefully we can bring something and will be some kind of practice that will become a standard in future. We're not going to we're not going to have a massive, huge band. We can't manage huge bands. It's just smaller bands that we can manage. We can't provide something for like a big band like Halloween or whatever, or Iron Maiden. Yeah. We do a small operation here, that's the plan anyway in the future.
But it's you are working on the bands that are like they are going to be big in the future. So it's important to do what you do now, and maybe you grow with these bands as well. So as a management company, I mean.
Yeah.
All right. So it's here. It's 7:42. What time is in Los Angeles right now? It's morning, early morning.
Yes, 10:42.
10:42. Yeah. So it's almost time. No, it's not almost time for lunch. You still have like some time before lunch, I guess.
Yeah, we got some
time
here.
Brunch time.
Brunch time. Yeah.
Awesome. So thank you very much for being with me. It's like we are running out of time because we started a little bit later today. We were a little bit late, but it's I don't know if we have any kind of restrictions, if it cuts out or not, but we stay together at 3 minutes. Okay. Let me just say everyone, thank you very much for following us. Thank you for all the questions. Let me read a couple of questions from Abby. What was your gateway into metal song? Like the song that set you off into being a metalhead? What was the first song that introduced you to metal?
I think what got me into guitar music and then eventually metal was Bon Jovi with the Slippery When Wet album. Those songs from there, I was hearing them on the radio at that time. I was in France. And that's kind of like the first year I was living in Europe, and it's like, oh wow, what is this sound? I didn't even know it's the guitar, and it kind of got me, into what I do now. Yeah, wow. It's the gateway. Yeah,
thanks to Bon Jovi, we got Dragonforce.
Yeah, what about you?
For me, I don't know. Like I was listening a lot of Michael Jackson, and I remember that when I was listening to the song "Bad."
Yeah.
Video clip, and that kind of mood, just brought me to be curious about stuff like that. And then I started listening to a lot of prog rock stuff when I was in the middle school, stuff like that. And probably the first like metal thing I ever heard was it's Black Sabbath, probably something like that. Okay. Because it was and then after that, it was like, back in the days, we were sharing cassettes with all these compilations and stuff. So I was listening to Fear Factory, Blind Guardian. It was all in the same cassette, like Dino Border. And then after that, it was like Blind Guardian, and then Rhapsody. And then it was, extremely like Cannibal Corpse, like all in one cassette. Yeah, it was very cool. And I think that's why probably FLESHGOD is like this. We got influence from all the genres. Like we have some songs that are almost power metal. Some songs are super like extreme brutal death metal.
Absolutely, yeah. Diversify your style. That's what defines your originality. In your band.
I think it's in the imprinting. I don't even know how it works. It's just in my mind. All right, so. I'll let you go. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for being with me. It's been a pleasure. I just if you want to give your contacts to promote your Twitch channel or whatever, just go ahead right now.
paste it right now onto the chat.
Okay, so he's
time.
gonna
kind of like
paste it.
spam the chat. Can I spam the chat?
Of
I'm
course
gonna
you
say,
can. Go ahead.
check out my Twitch channel. I stream Monday to Friday. Every single day I'm streaming, from guitar playing to video games to guitar to talking about, I don't know, reaction, watching stuff.
I bet you're very busy, man. I bet you're very busy if you stream every day.
Yeah, and what else? Our YouTube. Check out our YouTube. We do all kind of fun things on YouTube. Not just music, but we even do cooking stuff, like Italian cooking from our drummer. Yeah.
Taking our Italian cooking. Also, I just want to. You have to. Please, I'm gonna find the underwater solo.
Underwater, yeah. Check out the snorkeling one. The one I snorkel.
Yeah.
The whole thing for a minute under the water.
All right. Awesome, man. So thank you very much. Thank you, Abby, for the caricature once again. If you want to support her, she's the artist behind all the caricatures and all the designs that we have. You go to www.patreon.com/AbbyStabbyArt and you can support her there. Thank you once again for following us. This episode has been killer as well. And we're not going to take any break in the next future. So see you next Saturday, because we took a break last Saturday. And I want to thank Francesco for directing the show. I want to thank Mike for helping me out with this Nuclear Blast channel thing. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for being with us. And once again, I have all the papers with everything written here. If you wanna support us, also remember to tag yourself and share. You can tag Saturday Night Lockdown and you share stories or whatever. We are gonna repost and reshare all the contents. And we're gonna spread the word even more. Thank you. So thank you very much. Have a good day for you in Los Angeles.
Yeah, stay safe out there.
Have a good rest of the day if you are in Europe, and I think in Asia and Australia they're already sleeping. And so thank you for the support, and see you next week. Ciao.
Yeah. Bye, chat. Everyone, stay safe. Take care. We'll see you on tour.
Of course, man. Ciao, Herman.
All right. Ciao. Bye.
Goodbye.